Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night. It's a special edition of Primetime tonight because, as you've requested, you wanted to see the entire interview with Mr. Ass, Badass Billy Gunn, and we're going to bring you that in its entirety tonight. But in between, or along with that, how about we give you another little surprise here, David Hero, because I like surprises.
It's all about shenanigans, surprises.
Our new correspondent, I guess you can call him.
The Tony Stark of the Super Friends.
Our new correspondent, Al Snow.
Yes.
He's going to interview Rob Terry.
Yes.
All that tonight on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night. So, you know what? Without further ado, because I really don't want to hear your voice anymore, let's now go to, in its entirety, that interview with Mr. Ass Billy Gunn, conducted exclusively here with the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hello, fans. Damian Nelson here at the Pro Wrestling Report. We are here with Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass, the Badass Billy Gunn. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, thanks for having me. What's happening?
Well, everything but that shirt. Where the hell did you get that?
A good friend of mine gave it to me, because we did have a Twitter war at one time, because it is at Real Billy Gunn, hashtag Gun Club.
Yes.
So I figured, you know what, I'll help him out and wear his little Super Friends because, once I wear it, it'll trend worldwide.
But you're enabling him. You know he has an ego.
That's okay. Mine's way bigger.
Well, Billy, the fans out there are obviously very familiar with you, but it's been a while since we've seen you on the national scene. So why don't we get caught up on what you've been up to, because you've done some great things in the last several years.
Well, I just, I'm back out. I kind of back out where I started, doing independent shows and having a blast doing them, because, we start out and we don't, I think we take for granted when we first start out and go, these little shows, then we do the big shows, and then we get spoiled from doing those. Right. Then you end up right back where you started at. Now there's more of appreciation for it. You understand that people want to see wrestling. Maybe they don't, maybe the big shows don't come to their town and stuff, but they still want to see it and have fun. And they want to see superstars that they've seen on TV. And luckily I was blessed. I was on TV a long time. So, I had a great career. So now I get to give back to what all the fans gave to me. All their support, whether they liked, the smoking gun part or the butt part or the
rockabilly
or the rockabilly part, or the Chuck and Billy part,
yeah.
So, but now I get to give back. It's really intimate at these shows because I literally feel like I can touch and talk to every single person out there, and it's been great for me, and I've been extremely lucky, been really busy, and having a great time.
And you talk about being on the national scene, you talk about being on the independent scene. The biggest difference does seem to be, and what we hear from a lot of the talents we talk to, is that intimacy, that ability to connect back with the fans again. But while you were on that national scene, and recently there's been some troubles, some challenges in your life, and you have a good story to tell.
Well, there's always...
they've read about them all over the internet, and of course, that's 10% truth, 90% rumor. Let's fill in the blank here and get to all truth.
It's one of those things where you get caught up in your own hype. I mean, and I only speak for me and what I go through and what goes on in my life, because I now learn that I cannot control other people as much as I wanted to control them. It just wasn't working for me, and then it put me in harm's way and put me in a state of an addiction state, and I did struggle with that, but now, luckily I went to a great rehab center, and I've learned to actually like myself, not in a Billy Gunn form, right, but as in a person, as in a person that my wife, my kids, and my friends can go, he's back. Because when you're on a, you can't, for me, I couldn't help but get caught up in it.
Right.
I mean, there's nowhere you can go. I mean, when the Attitude Era was hot, and then again, I'm not blaming this on anything, right, it's all on me. I did it all. Nobody forced me to do it. I did it. And I take responsibility for everything I've done, everything I did, all the people I've hurt, but I've made amends to that, So I mean, I'm okay with that, and hopefully that the people that I, hurt or, hurt their feelings or whatever can understand that it wasn't it was something else, but I take blame for it. But I got caught up in that. I got caught up in Billy Gunn. He's great. He's good. You're part of DX. You can't go anywhere without selling out a building. Right. You can't do this. So I got caught up in that and let the Billy Gunn part take over my life completely. Yeah. Completely. Yeah. So and that was bad for me. But luckily I've been clean a year and 3 months as of 2 days ago. So and it's been the best year and 3 months of my life. Yeah. I mean, people actually like me. They like they like hanging around me. I have a people love to have me come and work for them now. They don't, they're not up in the air about which one they're getting. They know who they're going to get, and I'm having fun again. And it's been and they promised me, it's in the promise. They promised that if I could just do this, good things will happen. And it's been great for me. I mean, really, really good. And I love it, love it.
And those stories are so more frequent nowadays. You even look at your former tag team partner, the Road Dogg, who has a similar story to tell, and things have been great. Are you lonely on the road when you're in that? You're a national star. You're in DX. You're doing whatever it is, Chuck and Billy, whatever it might be. But you're on the road. You're away from your family. You're away from your friends. And it's so easy to understand why at times there might be those deviations. But what's that feeling really like for you personally when you were in a different city every night, whether it be Poughkeepsie or White Plains, and just to have that feeling of being so admired and loved by the world, but really being somewhat on an island?
Yeah, and you are lonely. I mean, and that sounds really weird to some people. They go, just like you said, oh my gosh, all these, you could walk out your hotel room and say, but it's not the same. It's lonely. I don't like being lonely, but I felt that all the time, and that was one of the things that kind of got me. I don't like to be alone, and even though you have those people that like you or love you and want to see you, and we'll just go outside. You'll have all kinds of people that love you. It's just not the same. It's not the same emotionally. It's not the same spiritually. It's not this. You just don't connect because they know somebody else. Right. They don't know me. They don't know Kip. Right. And that's the me part. Yeah. That's the me part. They don't understand you can't get lonely. You can't cry. You can't have feelings. You can't, be sad.
You're always performing.
Yes, and that's what they want to see. That they don't want to see the regular guy. Right. That's not exciting. Yeah. So, you are lonely, but now I have a lot of avenues I can go down. I can call friends. I have friends, sponsors. I have, somebody else that's bigger than I am, bigger than everything that I can talk to. So I talk, and now I talk. Mm-hmm. I don't just talk about wrestling I actually talk what's going on with me. So that makes me safe and makes me feel wonderful.
Awesome. Great story. Congratulations. And, when we look back at your time in WWE coming in, and there was time before that, obviously, but of course, most viewers remember the Smoking Guns and then the transition into DX right after WrestleMania 14, and then several different personas after that. What was your favorite time where you felt at your best in World Wrestling Entertainment?
I'd have to say the New Age Outlaws. Yeah. I've been lucky to have a bunch of great partners. It wasn't, when they go, Billy, you're the greatest tag team person ever. No, it's not. Take a tag team, it takes two. And so I've had a lot of good partners. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing about me and Road Dogg there was something, I don't want to say magical or, but there was just something from the time that we wrestled each other individually, singles all the time, and never felt as good or as close or as connected as when we finally got together. Mm-hmm. It was just the weirdest thing, and people ask me that all the time, and I just can't explain it. It was just something that probably, most likely won't ever happen again. But it was just something that clicked, and I brought out the best in him. He brought out the best in me, whether it was wrestling, entertaining, or just going out and performing. Yeah. There was just something there, and I can't put my finger on it. And I had something special with everybody that I tagged with, but that was just something. From they go, okay, you guys are tagged now. Bam! It was just like kablam! We got hit with something. I was like, woo! We're gonna make you, tag, worship people, but it was good. It was really good. I can't complain.
And you talk about that era as a fan. I remember we talk about when you guys joined DX back in 1998 after WrestleMania when Shawn Michaels had gone away for several years. It would end up being, and then there was that infamous night in Indianapolis, Indiana, where you threw Terry Funk and I believe Mick Foley off the edge of the stage and the dumpster. Was that really the moment? Because there were some doubters at first. Yeah. Was that really the moment where the credibility that the New Age Outlaws deserved finally was achieved?
I don't know if that's. I think it was something that defined the New Age Outlaws. Because if people ask you or you hear, it's always the New Age Outlaws a dumpster match. Oh, I can remember it to this day, that kind of thing. So I think that was definitely a defining moment. Was it for us? I think it was. I think it was just everything is for us. I mean, that was just a piece of the puzzle. But I mean, it was probably the head and it was probably the big piece that you work around. But I mean, it was there. It was a big part of it because I think that's what most people remember. So I mean, if they're remembering it, it must have been pretty good.
Speaking of remembering, you would spend some time in TNA wrestling and would be with the beautiful people and was a bit of I guess, a fashionist. What was your actual title? It was you were the consultant, weren't you?
That was a good-looking one.
Tell me about obviously TNA now with Hogan there, Bischoff there, and just a lot of things going on in that company. How was your time there in TNA wrestling?
It was kind of up in the air. I mean, it was fine. It was good. It was good for the time. But, because Brian was there at the time and I came in and we tried to reform VKM, tried to do a little bit of magic, but it was just gone. We were almost like pulling teeth because it just wasn't coming. No matter what we did, go to Titan Tower, do some funny stuff. It just wasn't there. People went, we get it. It's not working though. So we were trying to pull something that you can never duplicate. You just, when you go back, you can go back and go, hey, New Age Outlaws are from, woo, but it's not going to be the same as when we were together, when we were it. And then, after that, I think the best part and my most successful part there was with the beautiful people. That was Velvet and Angel, and they wanted to do because they had something too. They were good. They just needed somebody to kind of help them along a little bit, and that was my role there. I get it, and I have no problem with that. I love helping people. I wish everybody that was in this business could do what I've done and be where I've been. So, and it just seemed to work. It was kind of fun, it was just getting to hang out with them and working with them, and we got to do all kinds of different things, and it was just fun because then it got fun for me again. It wasn't a struggle. It wasn't doing this. They were great to work with because they were fun. They would listen. They weren't going, that's stupid. They trusted me. And yes, and they trusted me, which is a big part of trust is a big part in any kind of relationship like that. And they trusted me, so they knew I wouldn't steer them wrong, and they just let me have the reins and kind of help them along to become better at what they do. And it worked, and we had a blast. We really did.
It was fun to watch. It really was, and I think that the beautiful people was something that could have continued for a longer while in TNA, which maybe is one of their challenges at times, is sticking with something and letting it stick. But at the same time, you got to wonder about today's wrestling fan. Times are different. There's the era of instant gratification, not just in wrestling, but in entertainment in general and in society in general. Knowing what you know today versus what you knew back in your WWE days even, what would you say about today's wrestling fan? What's different about them?
I don't know. I have to disagree. I don't think there is. I don't really think there is. I think what it is we as wrestlers and are looking for that big. I'm getting all tied up here because I'm trying to talk and figure it out at the same time. I don't think there really is that big of a difference. I think what it is we as entertainers are trying to take it over the top. Because I think still Wrestling 101 works. I mean, it worked everywhere I go because I didn't graduate. I stay right where I know what to do, and they get it. And I think sometimes we try to fool the fans because the fans know more now than they did back then, so they think they're all smart. So you do kind of swerve them a little bit. They go, oh, here, this is oh no,
and they love it.
Yes, and they do love it. But I don't think there's really that big of a difference. They're just so used to seeing people fly around, jumping out of the ceilings and all that, so they think that they have to do that. To where you go back to there's a good guy and a bad guy. They wrestle. The bad guy cheats. The good guy comes back and beats him up, and And I think that still works. I think we overthink it a lot.
Totally valid. Totally valid. Speaking of overthinking, one thing I've been overthinking, especially since we've seen a bit of a nostalgia craze in World Wrestling Entertainment as of late, and obviously the Road Dogg back working with WWE in a behind-the-scenes role. How much longer will we have to wait as fans to see Billy Gunn back on national television on Mondays or Friday nights?
That's not really a question you can ask me. You have to call and ask Vince or them. You have to ask.
Do you desire it? Do you want it? Is that something you want to get back into?
I really do. I don't want to leave. I would love to go back there and in a teaching form or to help people, because like I said earlier, I want everybody that's in this business to do the best that they can. I want everybody that's put on a pair of tights to do what I've done and experience that, because there is no feeling like it to walk out in front of 20,000, 86,000. It doesn't. And to do what you do, what you've trained to do, what you've sweated for, what you bled for, what you go up and down the road for, to see it all pay off. And I would love to give that away. I have a lot of stuff, and it might not be the greatest stuff, but there is something that somebody could pick out of what I know. And I would love to train people, go to their training center, or just help whoever needs help that wanted it. And I don't want to leave this business not saying that I helped somebody or that they were able to get something from me.
Yeah. And you talk about learning and helping, and we're at an independent show tonight, PLWW here in Illinois, and it's almost independent wrestling is almost gone. The territories, if you will, been long gone. And now a lot of people who go up into either WWE or TNA are bred in the farm. They come from FCW, or in the case of TNA, OVW. What do you think that has done to professional wrestling? Has it not necessarily helped it or hurt it, but it has clearly evolved the talent that is available, because you don't have that opportunity at shows like this to hone your skills night in and night out across the country. But what impact do you think it's had on the business overall, just the change in the independent wrestling scene and the difficulty to sustain that business in a lot of markets in this country?
I really don't know how to answer that. I think what it is the FCW and OVW. I think what they're doing is they're getting if they hear somebody that's good, they get them. So I don't think it's so much that they're bred and done in those two farm leagues, if you want to put that, farm leagues. I think what they do is they do still find guys that are, you don't just wake up one morning and FCW call you and go, hey, we hear you want to be a wrestler, come, we'll pay you, come down here and train. Unless you're just...
So it's not the power plant?
No. If you're 7 foot and 500 pounds ripped to the gills, hey, you want to wrestle?
I've heard that line before.
But I think now they do have eyes. They've got eyes. They've got ears everywhere. So if they hear somebody that's doing good or they think has potential, they just grab them and stick them there.
Right.
They grab them, put them there. So there is a use for independent wrestling. There, one is for the people, the fans, and two is for guys to hone in their skills a little bit. Okay, I've been taught this. Let me go out and try to do it in front of people. And then if they've got something, then the farm leagues grab them. Yeah. So I don't think it's everybody's born and bred in the farm leagues. I think this will always be around. Independence will always be around, because that's what they do. They get trained, then they call their cousin and they let them come work at their show, and then they do enough of them. They go, hey, this kid's got something. Okay, boom, they stick him in there. Yeah. Whether you see him ever again is another thing, but at least they're there. Yeah.
Well, Billy Gunn, always a pleasure talking to you. We had fun at the Shenanigans party in Miami as part of WrestleMania weekend. Thank you for being a part of that. And hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. It's always great chatting with you. Thank you so much, Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Again, thanks goes to Billy Gunn for sitting down, having that very open discussion here with us. And you never know who's next. We got some people lined up for more of those sit-down, in-depth interviews. And actually,
we got road stories coming up too one of these nights.
Road what?
Road stories.
And
road rules.
Speaking of head, let's go now to, I guess, our new correspondent, David Hero. I don't know how the marketing team and Frank Cosentino worked this out, but Al Snow.
Frank's been spending some money lately.
Al Snow has what could be considered one of the most in-depth interviews in the history of our business with Big Robbie T, Rob Terry. So let's go through some portions of that interview right now. Al Snow talking to Rob Terry here on the Pro Wrestling Report Wednesday night.
Hi, I'm Al Snow, official Cub Cadet reporter for PWR. And I'm here now with the exclusive interview with TNA superstar Rob Terry. Hello, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Okay. Don't worry about talking into the mic. As you can tell, It is completely disconnected. They don't trust me with a live mic. But we'll operate as if it is, Rob, because as much as wrestling's fake, so is this microphone. Are you cool with that?
Absolutely, I'm as cool as anyone would be, so let's do it.
Oh, fantastic. I'm already excited by your answers. Rob, let me ask you something now. You have an accent. We're all wondering where it is that you originate. Quite clearly, it's not from anywhere within the Midwest of the United States where we do our program, which is in Milwaukee, which is Indian for beer water.
I'm from Wales in the UK, Swansea, Wales, so long way away, and come all the way over here to America 4 years ago, so.
Swansea, Wales. Now, is that a part of the actual proper United Kingdom, or do you have your own little fiefdom within the British Empire? Why do you get to call yourself Wales as opposed to England?
Well, Great Britain is part of 4 sections, is Scotland.
That is so fascinating. Thank you, Rob. Now, Rob, a lot of people are wondering, how long have you been wrestling? And how did your career start? Granted, that's a 2-part question. I'll take it slowly. Let's again start with how long have you been wrestling? I'll keep it simple.
Well, I've been wrestling for just over 4 years now. That's
Again,
number 1.
fascinating. And how did you get started in the business or sport of professional wrestling?
Well, I think anyone who is a professional wrestler is obviously a huge fan from childhood, and I was no exception. Huge fan in the UK. Used to watch wrestling as much as I could, and I was very fortunate. I came over to the United States. I was picked up with another company. I was trained up, and that more or less started my career there. And then since 2009, I've been with TNA Impact Wrestling. So.
Well, thank you for the incredible amount of detail that you provided in that answer. I'm sure that, of course, some of that detail would have been about the way that you used to idolize myself in my career as a professional wrestler. We won't get into that right now because it'd be far too embarrassing for me, So now, what are some of your goals, your hopes, your aspirations, your dreams, your needs, your wants, your thoughts, your desires within your career as a professional wrestler?
Just really to develop as much as I can and try and get to the top, as soon as I can as well. This is something I take seriously. I do it for a living, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the top.
Kind of like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Now, the question would be, would you kill for a Klondike bar, or dare kill to get to the top of professional wrestling?
Both.
Wow. That's a bit of a frightening answer, considering that it's about, I don't know, midnight in a strange hotel in Milwaukee, that I get a little concerned. You're a big man, Who would you be willing to kill to get to the top of professional wrestling?
Just about anyone, and especially you right now, seems you're sitting next to me, so, if we're going to get...
Hold on, let's pump the brakes, okay? I'm here as just an impartial observer and reporter, if you may, for PWR, okay? If there's anybody that you'd want to kill, it'd be Dave Hero. I hear he hates you.
Very true, man. You're right. Dave Hero would be one of the guys that we wanted to kill to get to the top. You're right, yeah.
Obviously. Now let me ask you something. How sexually attracted are you to Lisa Carter?
No comment? That's going to have to be the best answer for now, sorry.
What about Damian Nelson, Dave Hero's partner?
Who?
Exactly. I can see by your stumbling of words that you're quite verklempt by the idea or thought of thinking of Damian Nelson and his incredible madness that is Damian Nelson. Now, up to date, what has been your toughest opponent that you have faced in the sport of professional wrestling?
You know what? There have been many tough opponents. To name one,
fascinating. Anyways, let's move forward, okay? And let's see now.
killing me here.
What would be, who was your idol? Who motivated you as obviously never a small child, but obviously a very rotund or plump or husky, I guess, big bone child? in your youth, who motivated you or you idolized that, aside from me, of course, that you wanted to emulate and then get into the sport of professional wrestling?
Just to name a few, Hulk Hogan, British Bulldog, Ultimate Warrior, The Undertaker. They were some of the first guys I ever saw wrestle, and they were the guys I watched all the way through my childhood, you know, and I emulated as a young kid.
Now, there were two British Bulldogs. I don't know if you realized that. There was Davy Boy and there was Dynamite Kid. Which one of those two? Was it the bitter, now crippled, living in England, Dynamite Kid? Or would it be Davy Boy? Which one was it?
It was actually Davy Boy Smith. Yeah.
And so, who do you pattern your style after when you're in the ring right now?
I don't really try to pattern after anyone. I guess I'm just trying to find myself at this point. I just keep on going until I do, and then when I do, I know I'll be one of the most dominating forces in sports entertainment. So that's just the way it's going to be.
You know, I found from, you know, if you just want to take a little bit of advice, I've been around for about 30 years, and the easiest way that I found to, quote unquote, find myself was to look at a mirror. Every time, you know. Oh, well, bingo, there I was, you know. So, you're in TNA.
Yeah.
And you're right now, I'm not bothering you, am I now?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't want to stress you. I mean, you have already offered up a threat to my personage and my personal life. I point out this is videoed and will be shipped off immediately to the police and any necessary law enforcement, MI6 or whatever that you guys do in London, England, Scotland Yard, to persecute you to the full extent of the law if I happen to, at some point in time, end up in a ditch. Anyways, you are right now, presently, you are the bouncer, the bodyguard for Robbie E. Could you give us a little more explanation of yours and Robbie's relationship? There have been several rather unsavory rumors.
Yeah, first, you know, he paid me basically to be his bouncer, his security, you know, and since then, you know, we bonded a relationship, and you know, we worked well together as a team, and things are going well, and you know, hopefully there'll be good things in the future for the two of us. So, look out.
Could you explain to us your choice in like clothing? There have been some of the rumors, you know, that it has been a little bit risque as far as crossing the gender-bending line. Could you explain your tastes as far as outerwear?
Yeah, you know, I consider myself pretty much a fashionista type of guy. You know, Robbie likes to take it to the extreme, and you know, sometimes we both, you know, I'm in it as well. We both rock some, how can I say, ugly jumpers, you know, or cardigans, whatever you want to call them. So you know, they're kind of his choice, I guess. But you know, sometimes you just gotta look the part, and both of us, unfortunately, we just rocking them.
I wouldn't choose the adjective rocking them, but you know, yeah, each to their own, you know what I mean? Since you've been here in the United States, what's one of the things that makes you the most homesick for Wales or England?
I don't get homesick. I don't get homesick at all over here in the States.
No missing of tea or crumpets or anything like that?
You're mistaking me for the English. The Welsh, we, you know, usually beer drinkers, with the exception of me. But no, not missing home. Just, you know, enjoying it over here in the States. Family come over, everything's good.
Wow. Well, there you have it, folks, for PWR Cub Cadet reporter Al Snow here with TNA superstar Rob Terry. You've gotten the in-depth, the inside, the Barbara Walters, if you wish, of professional wrestling. I just need the soft lighting, the heavy makeup, and some plants behind me to really set things off. Oprah, look out. I'm coming for you.
What was that?
He obviously has no idea who you are.
No, he has no idea what a Klondike bar is.
Oh, well, same thing.
Rob Terry, Al Snow, Billy Gunn, all here on a Wednesday night.
Holy hump day.
We'll be back with an all-new edition to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, where we're going to be talking about the big Live Impact tomorrow night on Spike TV. I just confused myself. There's a lot going on this week. And brand new edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night coming up on, well, obviously Saturday. So thank you so much for tuning in here to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday. And we'll see you in a couple days right here at PWRshow.com.